Welcome to our seminar. Stay tuned to the end of this presentation, and we're going to talk about how you can claim your free $100 dinner voucher to use at any of the Chicago area Let Us Entertain You restaurants. If you give up some of your time listening to this educational event, I want to reward you and take you out for a nice dinner. There's going to be more details on that later to come, but today's topic of why you're listening is retirement income planning in today's uncertain economy. Many people have a lot of money, they accumulate it through their lifetime, but a lot of the core issues we see with that is how do you generate income off of that. Before we begin, we just need to have some disclosures. I am not over the internet giving you financial advice. We need to know 100% your situation, your income, your expenses. We are not giving specific financial advice, but just a high-level overview of some ideas, some concepts that may or may not work for you. So that's the disclosure page. And we're going to talk about the core issues in retirement. And a lot of people, their goal is how do I grow my assets? Or some people is how do I preserve my assets? But when you get near or about to be in retirement, isn't it really how much income can I get from my assets? And that's, it doesn't matter if you have a lot or a little, it all boils down to income. So the goal of many people is to have that peace of mind in retirement. That's why you're probably listening to this presentation right now. You want to feel more secure in your retirement. Unfortunately, there's a lot of risk and a lot of detours as we see those squiggly lines in your retirement. There's longevity risk. There's inflation risk. There's excess withdrawal risk, and there's market and miscalculation risk, as well as sequence of return risk and rising tax risks. And what these risks do is they kind of detour you, and instead of getting the peace of mind, you end up somewhere elseville. And that's really not our goal, not your goal. We want to get you that peace of mind. Our company name is Wealth Financial Services and Tax Advisory. My name, I introduce myself, is Jordan Flowers. I've been a financial advisor for over 12 years. That's kind of what I do. But I also think you should know why I do what I do. So before we go into the presentation and kind of address these risks, just want to give you a little story of how I came into the business. At the tender age of 15, I had the privilege or opportunity to watch my father, who has been in the financial services industry for over 30 years, help many different individuals, give clients the peace of mind in their retirement, show clients that they could retire, and show them that they could stay retired, and kind of eliminate a lot of those fears and a lot of stresses many people have today. Because I was able to observe that, I saw how he was able to help people, and I saw the happiness and financial security that brought to people. Unfortunately, part of our business, we do deal with a lot of people in retirement, and unfortunately, death is a big part of our business. And we go to a lot of funerals throughout the year. And on one funeral, one thing my father said to me really stood out, and it really motivated me to be in this career, be in this business, and to really help people. When we were at a funeral, he said to me, it's not always what you know people care about. They want to know that you care. And that really stood out to me. People don't care how much you know. They just want to know that you care. And I do care about my clients. I do want to really help them. And that's why I'm in this business. And I think that's important for you, the listener, to know that. So now let's talk about these retirement risks and see how we can get you to a more peace of mind in your retirement. Maybe I'll ask a rhetorical question. Do you have a retirement plan? Many groups I talk to, many people I talk to, even though they plan for the next vacation, they plan for their kids going to college, they plan to pay off the mortgage, they have all these plans, but retirement is a 20, 30, 40, sometimes 50-year obstacle, and they don't plan for it. So are you one of the many people that have a retirement plan, or are you probably one of the few people that actually have a retirement plan? I feel like every client of ours and everyone I work with should have a retirement plan. People don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan, and that's what I try to do. I try to give people a plan so they can feel confident in their retirement, and we're going to discuss that a little further. Let me ask you a question. Will this car run well? It has the chassis from Ford, steering wheel a steering column from Chevy, engine from Volkswagen, tires from Jeep, and a transmission from Honda, you might envision something that looks like this. Will it run well? It might run, but maybe not well. A lot of people equate that to they have one guy that's a financial planner, they have another person that's a CPA and does their accounting, then they have their insurance guy that does all their insurance, they have their attorney that does all their estate needs, and then they have that brother-in-law that gives them stock tips. So all those, advices don't always coincide and don't always work in your favor. We believe that if you have your financial house under one roof and all these kind of coincide and seem together, you're going to be better off and your financial plan is going to run more smooth. If you put all those things together under one roof, we think that you're going to create a retirement machine, a retirement income machine actually. We call it the Perpetual Retirement Income Machine, short for PRIM. And it looks something like this. And if you had a machine like that literally spit out money, wouldn't you be happy? We all want a machine like that. But you actually have pieces of this machine already, and the goal is to kind of put all those pieces together so you, just like this picture, can literally spit out money and have confidence in your retirement. So if you come into our office, I'll offer you also another gift, a free book. It's called the Perpetual Retirement Income Machine, and it kind of addresses this webinar just in a little bit more detail, talking about longevity risk, excess withdrawal risk, inflation risk, sequence of return risk, and tax risk. So if you come in, I'll also give you this free book as well. So let's address the few risks that are out there today. Longevity risk. The good news is we're living longer. Did you ever think about what the bad news is? We're living longer. People didn't plan to spend 20, 30, 40 years in retirement. Maybe if you look at the person in the very middle sitting on the left in the blue, and you look at that lady and you want to think in your head, how old do you think she is? If you have a number in your mind, hold that number and see if you were right. She's actually 118, Sarah Noss. She was retired for 40, 50 years. Do you think she planned on that when she retired? Probably not. But she had to make sure her money lasted her that long. I want to also introduce you some other people in this picture. Her daughter, Kitty, is 95. Her grandson, Bob, who's 73. Her great-granddaughter, Kathy, who's 49. Great-great-granddaughter, Christina, that's 27. And this little guy, great-great-great-grandson, Bradley, age 3. 6 generations living together. And this is not an isolated occurrence. People are living longer. We are seeing more and more of these. The point, we want to make sure your finances last you throughout your entire retirement. Unfortunately, many people today fear running out of money more than death. We feel like no one should have that fear because they should know with confidence if they are going to run out of money and if they're not going to run out of money. And if they are right now, that means we need to make minor adjustments to make sure they never have that fear. So kind of sad that people worry about running out of money more than even death. So in this retirement machine, in this PRIM, we actually put in a longevity rider, or a warranty, I should say, that will guarantee that your money will never run out, that you'll have a steady stream of income throughout your entire retirement. Let's talk about the next risk we have in retirement. That's called inflation risk. We've all seen that throughout our lifetimes. The cost of goods 20 years ago is not the same as today. But let's just look at 2 items and really sticks out. In 1989, it was $3.04 for a gallon of milk. Your average automobile was $16,240. Now, if we flash forward to 2014, that same gallon of milk, you didn't get a bigger gallon of milk, it was $4.99, and the average automobile was $30,000. Now let's flash forward even further. In 2039, just for a gallon of milk, $8.19. And that average automobile, maybe that Chevy, maybe that Honda, $62,800. Not to get a better car, but to get the average automobile maybe you drive today. So inflation is a real factor, and we believe that when you do financial planning, you need to calculate for inflation, and you need to put that in part of the plan. Let's look at this a different way. If you had $75,000 today, that's your income that you're living off of to keep your lifestyle, in 5 years, you need to increase that to $87,963. In 10 years, $103,000. In 15 years, $120,000. And in 20 years, you need $141,000 not to live a better lifestyle, but to generate that income so you can maintain the same lifestyle you have today to keep up with inflation. Inflation is a big risk, and it needs to be addressed in your retirement. So part of these income machines that we can develop for you, they have an inflation income booster that will keep your purchasing power the same and increase your income over time, and we'll discuss that in a little bit more detail later. Let's talk about another risk in retirement: excess withdrawal risk. Many people, they think they understand it, but let me try to explain it to you in a different way. So let's envision for a second you and your partner are stranded on an island. You have no food, no water, but all of a sudden you find this little lamp, you rub it, and you find a genie. The genie says, I'm going to get you water, and I'm going to give you a big jug, and I'm going to put 2 cups in it every single day until there's no water left in the jug. So you and your partner drink 1 cup a day for a few weeks. The jug gets refilled, everything is good, but then all of a sudden it gets really hot on this island, and your partner needs to drink more water, you drink more water. Now you're drinking 2-3 cups a day. Well, the genie is only filling in 1 cup a day, or one for both of you, 2 cups a day, so the water jug's going down. Then your partner gets really sick, and you need to drink a ton of water, and you actually, bottom line, you have no more water. Well, the genie is no longer filling the water, and now you're kind of out of luck. You have no more water. Your physical lifeline is now dead. Well, this can be equated to your financial lifeline. If you have all your money at risk or in the market, and the market goes down, and then you need it for some unexpected emergency or maybe a medical condition, you have less to grow it back up, eventually you will redline and you'll be out of money. We look at this in a different way on a chart. The withdrawal rate of 4%, that light blue line, if you had that withdrawal rate starting with $500,000, you did great. But look at the difference if you just had a 5% withdrawal rate, that dark green line. You ran out of money in 1996, and you can just see the difference if you took more and more money out. Withdrawal risk is a huge risk that you need to plan for in retirement. So what we do to minimize this risk is we hedge different things so that you have a license to spend some of your money at risk and then some of your money guaranteed, so you manage that risk a lot better so you do not redline in your financial plan. Let's talk about sequence of returns risk. Now, this is the same client, same amount of money, $250,000, same growth rate, but we just flipped it around. Positive returns in the beginning on that blue line with negative returns in the beginning on the red line. So we really see here, like if you retired in the 1990s, you had a great retirement, you went out to dinner every night, you had dessert. If you retired in 2008, you probably didn't go out to dinner, you probably stole the sweetened loaf from the restaurants that you might have went to with friends. There's a big difference in the sequence of return, and you got to make sure that you prepare for that, because you and I, we can't decide what the market's going to do with the year we retire, but we can plan for it and we can take precautions to protect what you have. So there's a sequence of returns buffer inside this retirement machine just to make sure your retirement's more smooth and we don't have to worry so much of what the market's doing, so we can make money when the market's up and when the market's down. Tax risk. Let's talk about that. In your mind, what do you think the greatest expense in retirement is? Kind of gave you a hint there. It's taxes. $71 goes to your pocket for every $100 you make, where $29 goes to the government for taxes on average. Let's look at it this way. The first 4 months that you work in a year, basically all that money goes to the tax man, Uncle Sam. And the next 8 months, that's what you can use to spend. And taxes are only going to go up. If we look at historically, tax rates are at a historical all-time low. Government needs money. Where are they going to get it from? More likely than not, your taxes. So we want to make sure that we take precautions against that. We put tax minimization pieces in the machine so that we can minimize the taxes you're paying, sometimes even eliminate the taxes you're paying on Social Security so that you're not going to get hit by taxes. A lot of people, they have a lot of money in IRAs and 401ks, and a client came to me the other day. They said, yeah, I have $1 million in my IRA. And I told him to his face, you don't have $1 million in your IRA. He's like, what? I said, Uncle Sam claims a big portion of that because the taxes haven't been paid on that. But I said we can plan around that to minimize or reduce those taxes with good financial planning. So taxes are a huge issue. Want to make sure you prepare for those. Let's talk about miscalculation risk. So we had this chart here of the market over 17 years from January 1st, 2000 to June 30th, 2017. Lots of ups, lots of downs. But if we look over that time span, the average rate of return was just over 3%. All that worry, all that stress, and the average investor only made 3%. Now, maybe, I know you're on a webinar, but maybe you can visualize and look at that chart for the next 5 years. Where do you think the market's going to go? We're at an all-time high. Is the market going to go up? Or is the market going to go down? Or is the market going to go sideways? Kind of envision for yourself and kind of guess where you think personally the market's going to go. So hopefully you have an idea there. So if you think the market's going up, are you investing everything in the market today? Are you mortgaging your house and putting that in the market? Are you putting all your CDs and checking account in the market? Well, you probably aren't. I talk to a lot of people, even though they think the market's going up, they're always like, it could go down. And they're right, it could go down. Now, if you think the market's going straight down, is all of your money out of the market? Did you put everything into cash? Did you put it into safe money vehicles? Well, a lot of people I talk to, even though they think the market's going down, they still have a lot of money in the market. Because they say, you know what goes down, it's going to come back up. And they are true historically over time. But right before retirement or in retirement, can you afford to take a 30, 40, 50% loss in the market? That could cripple your retirement plans. So you want to make sure you prepare for that. Other people think it's going to just go sideways, up and down. The truth of the matter is, nobody knows. I don't have a crystal ball. You don't have a crystal ball. None of us know where the market's going to go, but we need to make strategies so that we can make money when the market's up and make money when the market's down and not put all our eggs into one basket, so to speak. So let's do a little bit of miscalculation risk and just do a little bit of math. See these 4 coins? I want you to envision for me those are $400,000. Those are your $400,000. Each coin is worth $100,000. And the market went up 50%. You're feeling great. Now you have $600,000. You're feeling like a millionaire. The market goes down 50%. Now you have 3 coins, $300,000. Now you might go to your financial advisor and say, "Hey man, what's going on here? Or woman, I lost some money in the market." And he says, "Don't worry about it. Your average rate of return is 0%." And you get upset. You say, "Wait, I started with $400,000. I'm at $300,000, and you're telling me my average is 0%? Never go to somebody that talks about averages, because averages can result in real losses, honestly. Sometimes people say, "Oh yeah, we average 7%, but it's actually a real loss when you look at real numbers. This scenario, you lost 25% in real money. So for whoever you go to for advice, make sure they're talking about the annual rate of return, not averages. Averages are very misleading, as you can see in this illustration. So how do we build a perpetual retirement income machine? Well, we're going to discuss that. let me ask you, how do you manage risk? Are you comfortable on this steel beam? I think that's over New York City, where they're building some buildings there. I know I'm not comfortable. That's a lot of risk. But back in the day, people did this. No safety belts, nothing. That's where they had lunch. Now let's kind of ask a few questions to determine your risk level. If you see a crevice in the road, do you just jump over it, take that leap of faith? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to take the long route, I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to go the long way to get around? Or do you get some logs and build a bridge over it so you can manage that risk? Well, think about what's best for you and how it fits you. If you're the first one, if you jump over it, you're a risk taker. You know, you don't care how much money you make or lose. You just want to take that risk, and you're going to take money you need from your accounts systematically, taking systematic withdrawals. If you're that second person, you're a risk avoider. You don't want to have any risk. You just want guarantees, 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 and you use more of a flooring method. If you're a risk manager, you kind of have a little bit of balance of both. You got buckets. You decide when and where you're going to take money from in an organized fashion. And we'll explain each one of these in a little bit more detail. Let's talk about the risk taker. Now, I know we mentioned the income machine, and I don't know if I elaborate on these two income drivers. The variable income driver, that is money that is at risk. That is money that you can lose money. Higher upside potential, though, which would be equated to stocks, bonds, mutual funds, REITs, things of that nature, ETFs, that would be in the variable income driver. Where the guaranteed income driver, that would be funds that you cannot lose money. People are familiar with the U.S. Treasury, CDs, annuities, some types of annuities, guaranteed income driver that you cannot lose money. So for the risk taker, he wants all of his money in the variable income driver. And let's look at this illustration. He has $1 million. That's his fuel supply, we're going to call it. And he needs $85,000 to live off of. He actually had parts of this guaranteed income driver already. One being Social Security, which generates him $35,000 a year. Two being his pension that generates him $10,000 a year. So when you add those up, that comes to $45,000. That means he needs an additional $40,000 from his variable income driver to generate his total $85,000 of total income. So how is he going to do that? Well, let's look at when the market's going up. You put that $1 million in the market, market's going up. He's taking $40,000 out every year, but the market's going up 6% every year. He ends up just over $1 million, $1,068,000. He did really great, right? He took that money out, market went up, all is good. But what happens if the market goes down during his retirement? Well, he's not only is he taking money out, but he's also losing 6%. That $1 million quickly dwindles away to $637,000. Now, for the risk taker, that doesn't bother him. For a lot of people, maybe people on this webinar right now, that might drive you crazy. The stress and worries that happened to your $1 million, you might actually lose sleep at night because of that. But this is a risk taker, and he's okay with that. He has a very high uncertainty zone. You know, he could do great if the market goes up. He could lose a lot if the market goes down. There's just a lot of uncertainty in the risk taker. So let's talk about a risk avoider. And let me just give you a story of a personal experience I had. My grandparents, my grandfather lived to 75, and my grandmother lived to 83. My grandfather actually was in the Korean War. Half of his face was blown off. He had 9 gunshot wounds, won the Purple Heart, went through a lot. The doctors told him after the war he wouldn't have kids, he wouldn't live past 40. And he lived into his 70s. He had 4 kids, and he lived a really good life. But my grandfather just couldn't handle stress. With all the war wounds and everything going on there, he could not handle the daily up and downs of the markets. So I was able to help him, and we put him mostly investments that were conservative, that didn't have any risk whatsoever. Because he and my grandmother were a risk avoider. They just couldn't handle the stress. So if we look at a generic person that's a risk avoider, they put all of their money in this guaranteed income driver or flooring method that really just guarantees them income. Now, they had the same fuel supply, $1 million. They're going to put $727,000 and $272 into a bucket. You see there on the far left, that green fuel, that's going to generate them, if you look at the far bottom right, that fixed annuity of $40,000, that's going to generate them $40,000 guaranteed for the rest of their life. And that's what they wanted. They wanted those guarantees. Now, it says they're fixed annuity, and some people I talk to, they hear good things about annuities, they hear bad things about annuity. In this situation, an annuity is just a way to generate a guaranteed income source for the rest of their life. That's all annuity is. It's guaranteed income forever. That's what pensions are paid through. Annuity is just a way to generate guaranteed income. Now, some people come to me and say annuities are bad, and I say, you know what? You need to look at the type of annuity you're looking at. This example is showing an immediate annuity. Immediate annuity means that you put that money in, you're guaranteed for as long as you live. Now, unfortunately, if this person, the couple gets hit by a bus the next day and they pass away, none of that money, that $727,000, goes to the beneficiary. That's an immediate annuity. But if they live 20, 30, 40, 50 years in retirement, they still get that guarantee of $40,000. Now, that's one type of annuity. I'll just briefly explain three other types of annuities because there's 4 in total. The other type of annuity is called a fixed interest annuity. It works just like a CD. You put your money in, you get a certain amount of interest for a certain amount of time, and then you can take your money out. The difference is that you can get on average for these fixed interest annuities 3% guaranteed, and it's tax deferred, where you're lucky to get 1.5% in a CD right now, and you're even taxed on whatever you make on your 1099. Now, a lot of people are thinking, you know what, there's a fee for that. I know there's a fee for that. Well, let me ask you this. Is there a fee for a CD? You say you get 1%, you put your money in a bank, you get 1% for 1 year, take your money out. There's no fee for that. Does the bank make money? Of course they make money. They lend out 95 cents on that dollar to people getting home mortgages or home loans. Annuities, there is no fee on that fixed interest annuity. Say you get 3% for a certain amount of time. After that time, you can take all your money out. Does the insurance company make money off of that? Absolutely. But for every dollar you give an insurance company, by law, they have to have at least another dollar in reserve. Just a different business model than the banks that we see today, and there's no fees for that. But let me talk about a different type of annuity, a variable annuity. A variable annuity, just to give you a simple illustration, say you put in $100,000, market goes up to $500,000 over time, maybe over 10, 20 years, then it drops down again to $250,000. A lot of times when you pass away, your heirs will get $500,000 because they'll hit the high water mark due to a life insurance inside the variable annuity. But if you needed to take money out and the market dropped and you only had $250,000, you could only access $250,000. So good for your beneficiaries maybe, but not so good for you. Another thing a lot of people are not fully informed or they don't fully understand is there's many fees in a variable annuity. Mortality fees, administration fees, life insurance fees, administration. There's so many fees that are built into these. And sadly, a lot of clients that come into me, oh yeah, I'm paying 1, maybe 2% in these. And I do a 3-way call with a company and show them they're paying 4, 5, sometimes even 6% in fees that they didn't even realize. So say they're paying 5% in fees. If the market goes up 5%, they just broke even. So a lot of people, you got to be fully informed before you get into a product like that. I don't usually see the average person having a benefit from a variable annuity, just too much in fees, and that's where I think a lot of the bad rep from annuities comes. So just to give you one more illustration on the last type of annuity, it's called a fixed index annuity. It works kind of like the stock market, but with none of the losses. When the market goes up, you make money. When the market goes down, you get a zero. Now, you might be thinking, that's too good to be true. Well, there is a negative to that. There is a cap. So say the cap is 5%, the market goes up 10%, you only make 5%. But on the flip side, if the market goes down 10%, the worst you can ever get is 0. These are for people that like the upside potential of the market, but do not want to take any of the risk in the market today. That my grandparents had a lot of their money in these fixed index annuities. Now, let me ask you, do you think there's a fee for those? And probably you're thinking, yeah, probably, maybe, yeah. Well, there is no fee on these. It's all built into the product. There is no fees. The fees only comes in when you're talking about a variable annuity. So back to the PowerPoint, we see that annuity is an immediate annuity, $40,000 guaranteed, and they see they have their $10,000 pension as well and $35,000 for Social Security. That gets them to $75,000. And if we look at that, and then their other money they're going to just put in savings there. If the market goes down, say they're only making 4%, they're putting their money into a fixed index annuity. It's good, right? They made money on both sides. They didn't make a ton of money, but even when they're taking out money, they almost came close to that $1 million, $989,000, even while taking out that $40,000 a year. So if we compare the risk taker in an up market and the risk avoider, there's really not a big difference. The risk taker, they are just over $1 million. The risk avoider, they're just under $1 million. So now let's look at it, if their money is a risk avoider, it's in an annuity product, and the market's going down. Well, they still need to take out that $40,000, and if we look at it, they really not too bad. They're at $836,000 compared to the risk taker that actually lost a lot more, $637,000. Because when you take money out and the market goes down, that has a dramatic effect on your accounts. So the uncertainty zone for the risk avoider is very narrow. They're not taking a lot of risks. They're not going to lose a lot. They have a little bit of upside potential, so it's very narrow. Now let's talk about a risk manager. Most people I talk to, most of my clients are risk managers. They want to make sure they have a balanced approach when it comes to risk management. So same goal, $85,000 of income they need per year. They have that same fuel supply of $1 million, but what they're going to do is they're going to divide it into two buckets. They're going to divide it into the variable income driver, $454,000, and the guaranteed income driver of $545,000. So if we look at this, they put their $545,000, the guaranteed income driver. These are investments that cannot lose money. One of them is a Social Security, which we talked about, and we actually have inflation on that. So we see inflation on the Social Security over time. Then we have a pension. Most pensions I see do not have inflation built into them. Hopefully yours does if you have one, but for illustration purposes, we're going to show that, just showing $10,000 guaranteed for life. And then they're going to purchase an annuity guaranteeing them $30,000 guaranteed, an immediate annuity for the rest of their life. So we see these boxes here. It breaks it down years 1 through 5, 6 through 10, 11 through 15, and then 16 plus. So if we add that all up for the first segment, that equals them $75,000 of guaranteed income. They need an additional $10,000 to get that $85,000. So where are they going to get that from? Well, we're going to take it from the variable income driver, consumption-based investment buckets. And we're going to look at this real quickly. So that remaining balance, we're going to put $50,000 into a checking account at 0%, so that each year for the next 5 years, you can take out $10,000 of that to equal your $85,000 total annual income. Then we're going to take $85,000 and we're going to grow that at 3%. You can easily guarantee that in a fixed interest annuity over 3% right now. So that grows to $99,480, and then we're going to take out $19,896 for the next 5 years. Why are we taking out more? Well, because of inflation. We got to keep up your purchasing power. Then we're going to look at $96,906. Remember, this are funds coming from the variable income driver, that bucket. We're going to put that growing at 5%. We feel we have over 10 years to grow that. It's a pretty reasonable number. That will grow to $157,000, and then we'll take out $31,000 every year for the next 5 years to keep up with inflation. And then the last bucket we put $221,000. We have over 15 years to grow it. We grow it aggressively at 8% over that time span. That equals $703,000, and we take out $45,000 a year for the next 5 years. By laddering these investments, you're reducing your market risk and you're providing a guarantee for your retirement income. So if we look at these zones, risk taker very large, risk avoider very narrow, the risk manager's uncertainty zone kind of right in the middle there. So let's talk about who's qualified to build these retirement machines for you. Well, this slide kind of shows you a high level of all the investments out there today. We got checking, savings, money market, CDs, treasuries, fixed interest annuities, fixed index annuities, cash value, index whole life insurance, cash value, variable life insurance, variable annuities, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, REITs, commodities, options, a vast amount of products available, and inside each one of those, there's thousands of options inside of it. But high level, this is all you have to choose from when it comes to investing. Now, if you go to an insurance agent, he is going to tell you to buy his annuity, to buy this life insurance. Why? Because that's all he does. It's like a Chevy dealer. If you go to a Chevy dealer, are they going to tell you to go to the Honda because that's really the best fit for you? Probably not. Well, now let's look at the other side. Investment managers, stockbrokers, and bankers. These are the non-guaranteed, these are the risk investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds. And inside this bucket, if that's your business model, you're never going to tell someone to go to the guaranteed side with an insurance agent. Why? Because that's all you do. You do risk money investments. That's all you do. So unfortunately, you don't have a holistic guidance or a biased or objective advice in your retirement planning, unless you go to someone that's a fiduciary. A fiduciary means that you have to, by law, put the client's interest ahead of your own interest. And that is what I am. I am a fiduciary. I am also holistic. I don't care what product works for you or what product we recommend, as long as it's a fit for the plan and for your risk tolerance. I am not going to push you one way or another. I want, honestly, what's best for you. I'm unbiased. I don't care what product we write. I don't care what company we work with. If you go to Northwestern Mutual, are they going to tell you Prudential is probably a better fit for you? Never. If you come to me, I work with 300 different companies, many different investment options, and I'm going to custom tailor a plan that fits for you and your needs. I'm objective. I can tell you the good and the bad about every single thing out there, because let's be honest, there's a pro and there's a con to every investment choice we have today. You just got to know what is best for you and get good guidance in that. So, whoops, went too fast there. So if we look at this, you want a complete picture. You want to make sure that you work with somebody that isn't going to push you one way or another. You want someone that's holistic. A lot of my clients ask me, how do I get compensated? Well, I think they should know, and I think you should know as a consumer. If you do anything on this green side with insurance agents, they will pay a commission. The commission's paid to the company, and we get compensated. Now, that's not taken out of your pocket. It's already built into the product. So life insurance, annuities, you get paid a commission. Now, if there's on the red side, and it's stocks, a fiduciary, and you're doing managing stocks or mutual funds or ETFs, there's a fee that gets charged for that. Now, a fee is not a bad thing as long as you're getting, you know what you're getting, and it's worthwhile for you, but you should know what that fee is. Sadly, when I talk to a lot of clients, they do not know how much they're paying in fees, or they think they're paying something, but they're actually paying more. You should know the fee that you're being charged, and you should know why you're paying that fee. So if you do investments like that with myself, you'll know 100% upfront what the fee is before you enter into any kind of investment. So those are the two ways that get paid. Either way is fine by me as long as I can help you, the client. So really, you're over here in the top left. Maybe you're in retirement, maybe you're about to retirement, but really you want to get closer to that peace of mind. If you work with somebody that's on your team, you can eliminate these risks or minimize these risks so you can feel more confident in your peace of mind. I like to call myself not just a financial advisor, but an ally. I want to be an ally on your journey. Now, that involves investments, obviously. We work with world-class money managers. We do investment strategies that you can make money when the market's up and make money when the market's down. And in some of our investments, we use tactical investments to avoid large drawdowns in the market. Many people nearing or in retirement want to avoid that because they can't afford to take it in 2008. So that's one thing that we do. We also do insurance. How often have you reviewed your life insurance? Have you reviewed your life insurance? I'll give you a quick example. I had a client that came into my office, told him bring in any life insurance he had. He brought something in, he was paying a monthly premium on it. I showed him how we can triple his death benefit, tell him he wouldn't have to pay in any more premiums, and I provided him chronic illness and a long-term care alternative in case he gets sick and needs to access funds from his death benefit while he is alive. And what did he have to pay for that? Absolutely nothing. He had cash value in his life insurance, and since life insurance has gotten more and more friendly because people are living longer, we were able to take his old policy and give him all those benefits just by having a simple review. So definitely recommend you get your life insurance reviewed. Maybe if it comes to estate planning, we can talk about that as well. Ongoing financial decision making. Who do you call when things happen on your financial journey? You know, when there's a death in a loved one, when maybe something good happens, a marriage of a son or daughter, we want to be the person you call. We want to, share in your rejoices and be there to comfort you in your sorrows. So we want to be that, on your phone, you need something, we're here, we're your ally. Tax preparation and tax planning. A lot of CPAs I meet, they're just really good history teachers, right? They take last year, they take all the numbers for last year, and then they tell you this is what you owe or this is what you get back. Well, we like to go one step further. Actually, in our office, we offer tax income preparation for personal tax returns for $89. Now, you do have to be over 50 to get that rate, but 100% all schedules for $89. That's what we offer for our clients or even prospective clients. We feel very strongly that your taxes and your financial planning should work together in tandem so you actually end up with more in your pocket. If the financial advisor generates you a ton of capital gains and that loses you some tax benefits or gets you out of the senior freeze or different exemptions, that's not good. We want to make sure they all work together. Another thing we do is tax planning. Don't wait till January 1st to think about taxes. You got to think about the year before, because after December 31st, you can't do anything. That's already history. We want to take precautions and do tax planning, not only to reduce your taxes now or minimize them, but also long term. So that's a big thing. I definitely think you should take advantage of our tax services and tax planning that we offer in our office. Healthcare. Fidelity did a study, $972,000 for the average married couple that are 55. That's a lot of money for healthcare. We like to develop strategies to maybe offset or protect or leverage so you don't have to pay that all out of your pocket. And we can talk about that in more detail when you come in. Estate planning. Do you have a will or a trust, or your financial power of attorney is in place? Your healthcare power of attorney is in place. These are so essential. I got mine at the tender age of 30, and I wanted to make sure I had my family all set. Everything was in order, because it's enough emotional stress when something bad happens, there's the loss of a loved one, there's the emotional stress, we don't know what's going on. When you have this in order, it just makes sure everything goes smooth. You avoid probate by having a trust. Now, maybe you already have a trust. We actually review that trust for free, and we'll give our recommendations to you, and you can take it to your own attorney and implement that for free, at least for us, for our review. If you are a married couple and you don't have a trust, highly recommend you use this for the trust. It's $1,500. That's for a married couple. That includes your financial power of attorney, your healthcare power of attorney, your living will, your HIPAA documents, and any ongoing fees in the future. So say the laws change or your in-laws become the outlaws, We will update that for you at no additional cost. And if you're a single person, so one person, it is $1,000. Same rule applies. There is no ongoing fees. Anything that you need updated or changed or the laws change, we do that complimentary. That fee doesn't, I'm not an attorney, I don't practice law, that goes to one of our attorneys directly. We just feel like it's the foundation of a financial plan. Our clients don't go to probate because they have these trusts in place. So, do you have the right income sequence? Do you have your own retirement machine? Do you have a financial plan? My offer to you is put a financial plan together. Let me help guide you and look at your investments and look at your expenses and look at inflation and put it all on one plan so you can feel confident. If you do that, we can be able to build an income retirement machine that you'll be proud of and that will give you peace of mind. So, I know I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to talk about that $100 voucher. To claim that $100 voucher, you would have to come into our office, get a chance. We'll give a full financial review. I'll, answer any questions you have, 45 minutes to an hour, and see if I am a good fit to maybe develop a plan for you. I may be, I may not, and I don't work with everyone. I work with people I like. I work with people that we get along with, that we have a trust with. You come in, we'll have a 45-minute conversation, and at the end of that conversation, I'll have a $100 gift card to any of these restaurants. You can take it, and if you don't book another appointment or don't do business with me, don't ever feel obligated. You spent the time listening. You spent the time in my office. Give you this $100. Enjoy it. If you ever see me in the grocery store later, don't feel like, oh, I got to hide. No, it's okay. You invested your time. I appreciate your time. Thank you again for giving your hour today. And I look forward to seeing your office. I look forward to be able to buy you a dinner in the future and hopefully have a long-lasting relationship. Thank you again, and have a great rest of the day.